Welcome to this episode of Football Scientific with me, Aaron Slaughter. I'm a writer for FootballAnalysis1.com. I cover the Cincinnati Bengals, the Buffalo Bills, fantasy football, and the NFL in general. Also, I'm a writer for CFL I cover the Hamilton Tiger Cats of the CFL. And on Football Scientific, we cover the NAL, the UFL, the IFL, and the ELF, European League of Football, and soon college football. I think earlier I announced last week sometime that later this week we'll start breaking into conference previews of college football teams. I think we're going to start with the MAC Conference, Mid-American Conference, later this week, and we'll see about our predictions in the MAC Conference and our breakdown of the MAC teams. And it should be a good start. We'll use that as a practice round as we get to the Power 4 and go forward from there. Once again, it should probably start slow and become better. I am joined by my guest host, Tyler the Tiger. Tyler the Tiger here. Hey, did you know that we've reached a milestone? We've reached a milestone? Yes, a milestone. We reached a milestone of 100 hours viewed of Football Scientific. Watchers have watched over 100 hours of Football Scientific. That's pretty cool. And we're at 94 subscribers, so 6 more subscribers will be at 100, and then we're really taking off here. We're hitting some milestones. Who knew this was actually going to be a thing? We were started, and we're doing some silly stuff. And next thing you know, we're running a whole show, and it's blowing up. We don't even use thumbnails. We don't even use thumbnails. Yeah, whatever. We probably should. But whatever. Can you make thumbnails? I can make thumbnails. Why don't we make thumbnails? I just don't feel like it. Okay, well, that's fair enough. Okay, also, like YouTube shutting down the AI channels, and we're not AI. I'm not AI. I'm not even CGI. I'm real. Well, I'm not real. I'm a puppet. But you know what I mean. I'm pretty real. So let's get started with the show. Okay, well, let's get started with the show. First, we have some NFL news. This is just a review of the weekend, pretty much. We got some NFL news. Boom. First, LA Chargers. They started rookie training camp on Saturday, July 12th. They still have no deal for second-round pick wide receiver Trey Harris. I saw on That's Good Sports with Brian Perna or whatever that there's 30 second-round draft picks unsigned right now. 30 second-round draft picks that are holding out. That's pretty crazy. On other news, defensive lineman Ndamukong Suh has officially retired. He played for the Lions. He stomped on that guy's arm and head one time or whatever, his leg. He played for the Rams. He played for the Eagles. He played for the Dolphins. He played for the Buccaneers. He won a few Super Bowls. But he is done. Ndamukong Suh is done. Okay. Cleveland Browns rookie running back Quinshon Judkins continues the Browns' run of upstanding citizens. He was arrested yesterday morning for domestic violence and battery in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He's been in jail till this morning, showing, hey, I can up Deshaun Watson. I mean, I didn't rape a bunch of people, but allegedly. But I can beat people up in their car. So, I mean, whatever. Deshaun Watson. He must be mentoring Quinshon Judkins. He's mentoring the young players for the Browns. Like, you're not committing enough crimes. How are you going to get paid big money if you're not committing enough crimes? And they're like, good point, bro. You make more money than anyone, and you're not going to play, and you committed all these crimes. And he's like, yes, exactly. Cleveland Browns quarterback Shedeur Sanders is solid at quarterback 4. Could be cut. Could be going to the CFL. I believe. I think Toronto or someone has him on their negotiations list. They got released a couple weeks ago, which means usually a wish list. But hey, they may get their wish because Shedeur may not make it through training camp with the Browns. He's actually behind quarterback 3, Dylan Gabriel, who played at Oregon and threw a bunch of passes into the ground during the combine. Looked horrible, but he's still better than Shedeur Sanders. Los Angeles Chargers, they believe wide receiver Mike Williams can have a bounce-back season this year. He's been pretty pedestrian. Dallas Cowboys cornerback Kaiir Elam is expecting to start for the Cowboys after being crap for the Buffalo Bills the last 3 years. Hopefully it's crap for the Cowboys too. No one wants to see them win. No one wants to watch the Cowboys win anything. Running back, Christian McCaffrey says the healthiest he's been in several seasons, a.k.a. he wants to be drafted on your fantasy team. I don't know, man. It's hard to bet on Christian McCaffrey. I've tried a few times. I tried to lean hard on that guy, but he keeps getting hurt. I don't know. When he's healthy, he's really good, though, so maybe he's worth a risk. New York Jets, on my running back rankings, I had him pretty low, like 18th. I think he'd be a good RB3 to pick up, honestly, with his injury risks. Quarterback 1, Justin Fields. The Jets are saying he's a different type of leader. He's the type of leader that they want in their locker room. Okay, better than Aaron Rodgers that made everyone mad with his AI girlfriend. Allegedly. Denver Broncos, wide receiver Marvin Mims. He's the best candidate to be the wide receiver 2. It's in quotes. Best candidate. I'm not sure why that's in quotes, but apparently he is unpleasantly bad. He's just the best candidate to be wide receiver 2 for the Broncos. Kansas City Chiefs, they have until 4 p.m. on Tuesday to sign a franchise tag guard, Trey Smith, to a multi-year contract extension. Otherwise, he gets $23.4 million this year while on the franchise tag. He's the only franchise tag player in the NFL right now. That's weird, isn't it? I guess everyone else has been pitching such a fit when he get put on the franchise tag. Teams has been rolling over and giving them money. Trey Hendrickson will be on the franchise tag soon enough. San Francisco 49ers wide receiver Jawan Jennings. He's getting $7.5 million this year. He's in last year's contract, but he says, nah, man, I want a new contract or a trade. And I saw some trade to the New England Patriots where San Francisco gets some receiver that no one's ever heard of and gives up a draft pick. I wouldn't do that. Just tell Jawan to shut up and play football. Shut up and play football, bro. You can pay him if you want to, but I wouldn't. I would call his bluff. I guess I'd be good for the Bengals. They just do that too. It's like, nah, man. Tampa Bay Buccaneer, it worked out well last year. I did a report on the Bengals power rankings. You may criticize the Bengals, but T. Higgins and Jamar Chase had their career best years last year. Jamar Chase put up 1,700 yards receiving last year, more than he's ever done. So he's motivated. They're motivated to get paid. Maybe that's why you hold off on that. Everyone calls, including me, calls Cincinnati the worst run organization, but maybe they got some good ideas. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, running back Bucky Irving. He says he's put on some weight this offseason so he can stay away from injuries. He wants to be a little bulkier so he can take hits better. Denver Broncos wide receiver Cortland Sutton has been part of trade rumors. He'd like to get an extension done in camp. Pittsburgh Steelers, I saw a lot of trade interest in Pittsburgh Steelers defensive end TJ Watt, but they say, no, we're not going to trade TJ Watt. So we're probably going to pay him sometime, making it hard for the Bengals to keep not paying Trey Hendrickson. Okay, all right, so then that's NFL news. So then CFL news, Montreal Alouettes, they released American defensive back Don Callis, and they released American wide receiver Jalen Wayne. BC Lions, they signed national linebacker Jacob Bond. Toronto Argonauts signed national defensive back Istvan Asibu-Dadzi. And they released American defensive line Atlius Bell. Okay. Boom. Crazy week in the CFL. CFL and IFL are really getting fired up with some crazy weeks. Getting hard to predict, honestly. I did not do well this week in the CFL or the IFL. Hard to predict, which means it's great for fans, great football, it's fun to watch. That's one reason I like the CFL and IFL so much. There's so much diversity in the games. So week 6 for the CFL, let's do a quick review. Friday night, Calgary Stampeders was at Saskatchewan Roughriders were supposed to play, but they got smoked out, so they played Saturday afternoon. That played well for Calgary. Vernon Adams Jr., after throwing his first 2 touchdowns last week, put up 428 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Dedrick Mills helped run for 134 yards and only had 1 fumble. And they had 3 sacks. Now, that's a lot of turnovers. 3 turnovers, that's a lot of turnovers, okay? But they did throw up 134 rushing yards and they had 3 touchdowns. So Saskatchewan Roughriders came out, and honestly, they were very disappointing. Spoiler alert, they were very disappointing. I thought they were really good on defensive front. They got destroyed by Calgary. Second team to do that. Winnipeg got destroyed by Calgary first. 425 passing yards for Trevor Harris, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Okay. They had 16 rushing yards. AJ Uyet and Kareem Carey, 2 of the best backs in the league, had 16 rushing yards. No touchdowns, no fumbles. Had 1 sack. Okay. So at the end of the day, 134 rushing yards versus 16 rushing yards. Calgary wins 24-10, knocking off the second top team in the Western Division in 2 weeks. And they are now the top team in the Western Division. They are 4-1 and they're in first place. They got tiebreakers over Winnipeg and Saskatchewan. They won 24-10 this week over Saskatchewan on the road. They're both 4-1. Calgary is the top team in the West. Ottawa Red Blacks traveled to the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Hamilton Tiger Cats had a great chance with Montreal not playing this week to move up the ladder. If they got a win against the struggling Ottawa Red Blacks, they would be in first place. They'd be tied in first place, but they have a tiebreaker over Montreal because they beat Montreal a couple weeks ago. Okay, so what happened in this game? Well, it was way tougher than it should have been for the Tiger Cats. Drew Brown for Ottawa threw for 283 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. They ran the ball 53 rushing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 fumble. William Stanback did most of that work. Eugene Lewis, while he didn't have any touchdowns, had 128 receiving yards. Pretty good game for a non-superstar, according to Ed Hervey. They had 0 sacks, though. Hamilton Tiger Cats came out. Bo Levi Mitchell threw for 266, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's nice. That's 3 turnovers by Ottawa if you count them up. And they had 86 yards rushing. Okay, 0 touchdowns, no fumbles. So they won on the running game. They won the turnover battle. They got more sacks. Kenny Lawler had 95 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. So what's it spelled out to? It spelled out to a close win by Hamilton. They're 3-2. They're in first place. They beat the Ottawa Red Blacks who are 1-5, and people are waiting for them to be gutted. Their coaching staff to be gutted. That's what happens in the CFL. If you fail, you're going to get gutted. Hamilton won at home 23-20 to pull themselves into first place in the East Division, which is inexplicable after an 0-2 start. Of course, those 3 wins are all against Eastern Division foes, so maybe the East is just really down right now. But Tyler, what do you think about that Tiger Cats win? It was great. They were down the whole time. Felt like they were going to lose the game. But then the Tiger Cats came back, and they scored, and they scored again, and they scored again, and they scored a winning touchdown, and they won the game. Let's go Tiger Cats! Yep. All right. Good. Good energy there, Tyler. Okay, last night, BC Lions traveled to Edmonton Elks. I really thought the Elks had been playing good football recently, although BC upset Montreal last time they played and got that big fight. So I thought Edmonton would play pretty well in this game at home. And BC Lions threw for 345 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and interception. They ran for 183 rushing yards. That's a lot of rushing yards. 1 touchdown, no fumbles. They had 1 quarterback sack. Edmonton Elks, Trey Ford struggled to 112 passing yards. That's a big dip from what he had last time. 1 interception. They had 66 rushing yards. They have a couple touchdowns. But BC Lions shut down Edmonton Elks, showing them you get no more wins. Nathan Wirt and Jeremiah Mazzoli are undefeated against the Edmonton Elks in their career. So BC Lions won at Edmonton 32-14. They're 3-3. Edmonton's 1-4. So with that in mind, I've reframed my power rankings. So after week 6, we're a third of the way to the CFL's S-off from Christina Costabile from TSN. We're a third of the way through the season, and Hamilton Cats in first place. So just got to keep winning. I'm resetting my power rankings based on the findings from the first third of the season. Number 1, Calgary Stampeders, 4-1. They're my number 1 team. Number 2, Hamilton Tiger Cats, 3-2. I got them ahead of a lot of people. They're playing very well, or they're playing very weak teams. It's hard to say which is which. Number 3, Saskatchewan Roughriders are 4-1. Okay, they're pretenders. They got knocked off top spot. Winnipeg Blue Bombers, they didn't play this week. They are 3-1. They got beat by Calgary, so they're all 3 of those teams. Hamilton, Saskatchewan, and Winnipeg got beat by Calgary. Calgary is definitely the top team. Okay, number five, BC Lions have climbed from the bottom up to the middle of the pack. Still 4th place in the West. Could be a crossover team if Toronto and Ottawa keep playing like crap. Number 6, I got the Montreal Alouettes at 3-2. They play again this week. They might be able to turn it up. Hopefully not. Hopefully Hamilton can control first place. Toronto Argonauts at number 7. They're 1-4. Edmonton Elks are 1-4 at number 8. And Ottawa Red Blacks are 1-5 at number 9. And everyone thinks their coaching staff should be gutted. So that means you're pretty bad. I'm going to keep that. I'm going to move forward on that. Okay. All right. Next, in the IFL, also a crazy week in IFL. I just got to adjust my algorithms a little bit. I was close on a lot of these, though. Vegas Nighthawks travel to Bay Area Panthers. In my mind, this is a playoff game. Basically, this would be the first round of the playoffs if they played in 2 weeks. So, 2 or 3 weeks. So what happened? Well, Vegas came out, threw the ball for 149 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception. That 1 interception is important. They ran for 140 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns, 2.5 sacks for their defense. That's a solid game. But that 1 interception hurts if Bay Area didn't throw any interceptions. Bay Area, they passed for 162 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. That's a huge stat. They ran the ball for 155 rushing yards. They won the running game, and they had 6 rushing touchdowns. They did what they had to do to win the game. They only got 1 sack, but the rest of those numbers are way more meaningful. They pounded the ball in the run game. They got a turnover. Bay Area wins 55-54. Vegas had a chance to win the game at the end. They scored a touchdown. They went for 2 instead of going for 1. I would have kicked the extra point and forced overtime, I guess. But they went for 2 and they dropped it in the end zone. So they would have had a chance to win by 1 point as I predicted. But they lost by 1 point instead, 55-54. San Antonio Gunslingers, they traveled to Jacksonville Sharks. This is a surprise of the week. San Antonio Gunslingers have been eliminated from the playoffs. You would think they'd be ready to pack it up, but they made a bunch of roster changes this week, so they're still hungry right now. They threw for 159 passing yards, 6 touchdowns, and an interception. They rushed for 128 rushing yards and a touchdown. They had 1 sack and 2 interceptions. Those 2 interceptions are critical, okay? Because they threw no interceptions and they intercepted 2 passes. That's probably the difference in this game. Spoiler alert. Jacksonville Sharks, they threw for 179 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. That's bad. 47 rushing yards. That's worse. 2 touchdowns, no sacks, no interceptions. So their defense really didn't show up to make any stops, and their running game got shut down by San Antonio, which is how you're going to lose a game. That's how you're going to lose a playoff game, too, because they lost to a non-playoff team. San Antonio Gunslingers 46-31 at home. I think they'll hope to be on the road. I think they play better on the road, actually, Jacksonville Sharks do. Green Bay Blizzard, they traveled to Quad City Steamwheelers. They threw for 200 passing yards. Max Myler, 4 touchdowns and 1 interception. They ran the ball for 115 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns and 1 interception. Quad City Steamwheelers, they threw for 193 passing yards, 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. That's pretty even stats. 84 rushing yards for 3 touchdowns. This is a very evenly contested game. Both teams playing good football. 1 sack, 1 interception for the Quad City defense. Turnovers are equal. But Green Bay Blizzard ran the ball better, and they jumped out early and held their lead. They held serve the whole time, and they won 58-52, pulling themselves closer to Quad City Steamwheelers. It's a very close race in the East about who's going to get home games. So, Green Bay Blizzard are now 9-5. So is Jacksonville Sharks. We'll see the power rankings in a moment. Massachusetts Pirates traveled to Tulsa Oilers. Tulsa Oilers have been without a quarterback, but Friday afternoon they signed Sam Castronova, who used to be the explosive quarterback at San Antonio Gunslingers, and then went to AF1 and won an AF1 championship with Albany Firebirds. So he is stepping and replacing TJ Edwards. That's a great replacement for TJ Edwards. Mass Pirates came in looking to put away the Tulsa Oilers. They would have won that game on the road. They probably would have knocked Tulsa, prepared them to leave the playoffs. And that's a spoiler alert. This official stats were not released for this game, but I'll let you know. Mass Pirates jumped out to an early lead. Sam Castronova caught fire in the second half, tied it up, went to overtime, 28-28. In overtime, Mass Pirates could not score. Tulsa came down, scored. They kicked an extra point. The Pirates went through and blasted. Nope, that's not it yet. So they got their extra point. Boom, they got a lead, 35-28. Okay, Mass Pirates get another chance to tie it up, and they fail. They snapped the ball over their head. During that extra point, they lit up Russ Moore, the kicker. So they went down there, and he got hurt, but he was fine. He kicked the next time. Mass Pirates went out there and got slaughtered the second time in the overtime, and they lost 35-28, putting Tulsa in great position to make the playoffs, potentially knocking Massachusetts out. They both have 2 games left to play. They need to win both games. Both teams do. It's going to be a close race in the playoffs there. One of those teams are going to be left out, guys. One of those teams are going to be left out, okay? Tulsa picked up the home window with Sam Castronova. They probably are going to be okay. All right, boom. Fisher's Freight eliminated for the playoffs. Traveling out of Barnstorm eliminated for the playoffs. Expected to be a pretty competitive game, and it was. Fisher's Freight threw for 87 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. They ran the ball 164 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 sacks. Barnstormers are like the mirror image of Fisher's Freight. They threw for 205 passing yards, 6 touchdowns, and no interceptions. They ran for 24 rushing yards and 1 touchdown. They had 2 sacks. So the difference in this game, 164 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns, 24 rushing yards, 1 rushing touchdown. The running game wins the game, and Fisher's Freight beats Iowa Barnstorm 58-54. Okay? They continue to show they are better than Iowa. Okay? That's to go to 5-9. They have a chance to not have double-digit losses this year. San Diego Strike Force, another playoff game type matchup. This would be a first-round playoff matchup in the West. San Diego Strike Force traveled to Arizona Rattlers, the defending IFL national champions. Last week, San Diego Strike Force already clinched their playoff spot. They threw for 126 passing yards, 2 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. They ran the ball for 37 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns, and they intercepted 1 pass from the Rattlers. Rattlers passed for 134 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, and 1 interception. They ran the ball for 93 rushing yards and a touchdown, 0 sacks. Okay, basically that 93 rushing yards, 37 rushing yards is the difference in the game. They also had 5 passing touchdowns to 2, so that covered the distance. And after being led in the first half, they were down by like 3 scores in the first half. It looked like San Diego's going to run away with it, and then Arizona came back and won 46-43. Tying them for the number 2 spot in the West. So I bet they play again. Probably at San Diego. Boom. Last game of the IFL week, 17. Tucson Sugar Skulls returned to Northern Arizona Wranglers. Last time they played there, they blew out the Wranglers like 56-28, I believe it was. They crushed them. I figured they would do the same since they're trying to make the playoff run, but there's a reason why they're not a playoff team right now. Spoiler alert. They threw for 271 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, and 1 interception. That 1 interception was important. They ran for 34 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. That's not good enough to win the game, guys. Northern Arizona Wranglers threw for 222 passing yards, 6 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. They ran for 84 rushing yards and 3 rushing touchdowns. They had 1 sack, 1 fumble recovery, and 1 interception. So they won in turnovers, they won in rushing touchdowns, they won in passing touchdowns. Northern Arizona won in every area, and even though they're eliminated, they beat the Tucson Sugar Skulls 61-55. Tucson is hanging on to their playoff hopes by a tiny, tiny thread. Boom. Okay. All right, so how's it breaking down? We're going to reframe our power rankings real quick. Bay Area Panthers are still my top team. They've clinched the playoffs. They're 11-3. Number 2, I got Green Bay Blizzard there, 9-5. They may not be good enough to beat Bay Area Panthers, but I think they're pretty good. They have not officially clinched a playoff spot, but they should have. They should have by now. They got to get the 10 wins, I guess. Or hope Massachusetts loses again. Either way, they'll be in. Boom. San Diego Strike Force, playoff contender, number 2 seed in the West. They're 9-5. And Green Bay would be number 2 in the East right now, just so you know. Number 4, Arizona Rattlers are 9-5. I got them as their playoff qualifier. They're number 3 in the West. They would travel to San Diego if they played playoffs this week. Number 5, Quad City Steamrollers are top in the standings, but I have them below the Green Bay Blizzard. I think Green Bay found a way to knock them off at Quad City. That's a big road win. Quad City's 10-4. I got Green Bay over them. Okay, they're number 5 in my power rankings. They're a playoff qualified team. Number 6, Vegas Nighthawks. They're looking to cinch up the last spot in the West Division. They're 8-6. They need to win one more game to finish that off. I think Arizona's already they're locked in. So Vegas, if they win one more game, they knock out the Tucson Sugar Skulls. Or if Tucson loses next week, they're out too. Okay. Vegas Nighthawks number 6, 8-6. Number 7, Tulsa Oilers are 8-6, and now they are in the thick of it for a playoff spot. Okay, they got Sam Castronova. I think they're probably going to be in the 4th seed. Number 8, Jacksonville Sharks. They're just really confusing. They'll probably be the 3 seed behind Green Bay and Quad City. Can they knock off Green Bay at home? They can't. Any of these teams can beat each other once they make the playoffs. Every week, any IFL team can beat any IFL team. The playoffs are completely wide open. It's hard to say who's going to win this thing. I'd say Bay Area and Jacksonville still. Sit on Jacksonville. Number 9, Mass Pirates are 7-7. They'd be out of the playoffs right now. They really needed to win that game in Tulsa, and they did not. Number 10, Tucson Sugar Skulls are 6-8. They're really just one loss or one Vegas win away from being out of the playoffs. They need Vegas to lose the last two games. Okay, is it going to happen? I don't think so. Boom. San Antonio Gunslingers are eliminated. They're 4-10, but they got a huge winner of Jacksonville helping out the Mass Pirates. Number 12, Fisher's Freight. Now, officially, Jack's Sharks have not made the playoffs yet. That's weird. They should have. But I guess there's an outside chance Massachusetts could steal their spot. Number 12, Fisher's Freight. They're 5-9. They're eliminated from the playoff. They got another win. They're Arizona Wranglers. They're 2-12. They're eliminated from the playoffs. Iowa Barnstormers, number 14, can't get a win. They're 1-13. They're eliminated from the playoffs. Just can't get a win. Can't catch a break. Okay, last but not least, we have our ELF standings from this week. It was a pretty exciting week in the ELF too. European League of Football. February Throners, who are 0-8, traveled to Madrid Bravos. I figured Madrid will dominate this game. February threw for 235 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and interception. They ran for 71 rushing yards, 1 touchdown, 0 sacks. Madrid Bravos threw for 292 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Reed Sinnett, Aaron Cruikshank, best passing attack in the ELF, European League of Football. And they ran for 219 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 sack. That's enough to win the game, and they won in Madrid 49-22. I did not expect them to lose it forever. Stuttgart Surge traveled to Frankfurt Galaxy. This is a do or die game for Frankfurt Galaxy. Otherwise, they're getting ready to be out of this playoff run, even though there's like 4 weeks left. Stuttgart Surge, they threw Ryan Hennessy. He threw for 258 passing yards, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's a really good game by Ryan Hennessy. They also ran for 130 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. That's dominant, y'all. Frankfurt Galaxy with a new quarterback did throw for 350 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. That 1 interception is important, though. And they also ran for 129 rushing yards and 1 touchdown, so they lost the running game by 1 yard and 1 touchdown. You would think that may not be that important, but the interception and losing in the running game, losing in the sack game, allows the Stuttgart Surge to go to 5-2. They just defeated the Frankfurt Galaxy 54-39 on the road. That's a big road win. Okay. And Saturday's outcomes, Munich Ravens, who were 6-1 at the time, traveled to the Belgic Mercenaries, who restructured their team. Munich Ravens, not known for their big offense, but they can score a lot when needed. They threw for 58 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. They ran for 295 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 sacks. That's a dominant running game right there. 295 rushing yards. Helvetic Mercenaries threw for 102 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. That's going to kill you. They had 108 rushing yards, though. That's a good game by Helvetic. Probably the best game they played this year. They had 1 touchdown, 1 sack. So that's probably the best game Helvetic's played this year, but they still lost 34-20, making Munich 7-1 and Helvetic 0-7. Okay, next. Big matchup. Vienna Vikings took on the Paris Musketeers. Possible playoff matchup here. Possible championship game matchup, honestly. Vienna Vikings Came into Paris. They threw for 269 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. So Paris defense stepped up. They have a really good defense. The Vikings ran for 131 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns, and they had 2 quarterback sacks. Paris Musketeers, they threw for 231 passing yards. They had 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. They ran for 165 rushing yards, but you needed to win the game. They had 2 touchdowns, but boom, they could not stop Vienna enough. So they ended up losing 40-33, even though they won in the running game, which is very rare for a team to win in a running game and lose the game. But Paris lost the game, even though they won the running game. Vienna Vikings get a win to go 7-1, and they beat the Paris Musketeers who are 5-3. Okay, 40-33 on that one. Berlin Thunder, who have been bad since getting a couple wins early in the season, won against Cologne Centurions. They went to the Cologne Centurions again. They threw for 274 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. They ran for 146 rushing yards, 1 touchdown. That's the most rushing yards they've had all year. It's probably more than they've had in every game up to this point, okay, if you add them all up. They had 5 sacks on defense. That's huge. They sacked the crap out of Cologne Centurions quarterback. Cologne Centurions put up 137 passing yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, 30 rushing yards, 0 touchdowns. What's it mean? It means Berlin Thunder got another win over Cologne Centurions, 45-2. They are now 3-5, and Cologne's 0-8. What's that really mean? Nothing. That means nothing. It means they're both not going to make the playoffs. Another huge game. The last 2 years, champion of the ELF, Ryan Fire. Many players left and went to Nordic Storm, but they came to Denmark to play the Nordic Storm. Ryan Fire, they passed for 155 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. They ran the ball for 109 rushing yards and 1 touchdown. They had 0 quarterback sacks. Nordic Storm, Shadarian Clark, formerly of the Ryan Fire, 3 for 303 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Not a clean game, but 4 touchdowns is good, but 2 interceptions is real bad. Not a clean game. They did run for 103 rushing yards. They had no touchdowns. They had 2 quarterback sacks. So really, Nordic Storm did everything you got to do to lose this game. Okay, they turned the ball over more. They didn't outrush them. But Ryan Fire just could not get over the top, and Nordic Storm wins 25-24 to stay undefeated. They're 7-0. Ryan Fire 5-3. Ryan Fire should have won that game, honestly. Did everything you got to do to win the game, except for win the game. That happens sometimes. Wrocław Panthers travel to the Prague Lions. This is potentially a playoff spot. It's battling for a playoff spot. For these teams, it becomes like playoffs every week from this second half of the season. Only 16 out of 16 make the playoffs, so that's why that's the case. Wrocław Panthers travel to Prague Lions. They threw for 185 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. They ran for 232 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. They had 4 quarterback sacks. That's a good game. Prague Lions, they threw for 327 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. They ran for 158 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. That's an equally good game. They had 4 sacks. At the end of the day, this is the most even game of the week, but Wrocław Panthers won in the running game, 232-158, and they win in the scoreboard, 31-37, to go 5-3, and Prague Lions take their second loss. They're going to go 4-4. Okay, so that in mind, we reset our ELF power rankings. Nordic Storm are 7-0, they're number 1. Vienna Vikings are 7-1, they're number 2. I mean, as long as the Nordic Storm doesn't fit them, I keep them at number 1. Vienna might be a better team, but I'm going to keep them at number 1. Vienna Vikings are number 2, 7-1. Munich Ravens are 7-1, they're number 3. Number 4, Stuttgart Surge, 6-2. Number 5, Paris Musketeers, 5-3. They'd be a playoff team right now. Number 6, Madrid Bravos, 5-3. If I was, that would be your playoff teams. And here's how it would work out. Vienna and Nordic would both get a bye week. We see Madrid and Munich play in Munich. And I think Munich could win that game, but I think it'd be a really good game because Madrid will come out winging the ball. And then we got Stuttgart Surge playing Paris Musketeers, which would be a great game. And I got the Surge winning that game. So I think it would end up being, in the next round, Stuttgart Surge versus Nordic Storm. Nordic Storm wins. Munich Ravens versus Vienna Vikings. So probably a 2-point game either way. Tough call, and then Nordic Storm beats whoever comes out of that. That's what my feeling is. Number 7, T-Will Raiders. They're out of the playoffs right now. They're 5-3. Number 8, Row Claw Panthers are trying to claw their way back in. They're at 5-3. Number 8, number 9, Ryan Fire, showing they can compete, but they're still number 9. They're losing too many games. Prague Lions, they're number 10 at 4-4. They were really close to a playoff spot, and then they've taken 2 losses in a row, so it might be over. Their run might be over. Number 11, Berlin Thunder. It rose up to number 11. They're 3-5. They've only beaten Centurions and Fairbairn Throners there, I think. So, whatever. They haven't beaten any good teams. Number 12, Frankfurt Galaxy are 3-5. I think it's over for them. I think it's over for everyone below Prague right now. Who's at number 10? I think so. 6 teams: T-Will Raiders, Row Claw Panthers, Ryan Fire, Prague Lions. Still have the chance to make the playoffs. Number 13, Hamburg Sea Devils are 2-6 now. It's looking bad for them. Number 14, Helvetic Mercenaries, even though they redid everything, they still look real mid, and they're 0-7. Number 15, Fairbairn Throners are 0-8. They've been playing the best football of the bad teams, but they cannot win the game. And the number 16, Cologne Centurions are even playing football. They're 0-8. This ain't like they're playing football, honestly. Like they've pretty much given up. So, with that in mind, that's an update from the weekend. Remember, we are 6 people away from 6 subscribers. We have hit 100 hours of viewed of Football Scientific over the last few months. So we're looking to take the next step. I may add thumbnails sometime. I may not. But I'll see. Don't bow down to the pressure. We don't need that crap. We don't need the AI. We don't need the fancy pictures. We need good football fans to look at what we're doing and figure it out. Figure it out. Good call, Tyler. Remember, I'm a writer for footballanalysis1.com. I wrote an article yesterday on the Bengals. I'm working on one about the Buffalo Bills right now. CFL News Hub. I'll be writing stuff about the Tiger Cats this week. And then, subscribe to the channel. Boop, like the video. Boop, so the algorithm sends you our stuff. I've been making a few shorts today about his power rankings. And that's pretty much it. We'll be back probably later in the week, probably Wednesday-ish. We're going to go over the MAC predictions. Who's going to win the MAC conference in FBS football. Group of 5. So we'll see how it goes. It should be fun. We're breaking some college football. That's the plan. Thanks for joining us for Football Scientific today. The portal is now closed. Bye, 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 bye.